everyone, and welcome to episode 18 of 40 Something and Fabulous in London. I'm Ines Roberta, and on today's show we've got 3 new exercises, the changing body over 40, and of course a dating story.
For those of you that have been following the Kitchen Fitness program during lockdown times, you will know that I have recently started to introduce the distance band or the booty band. I've got the Elvia one from Amazon. They actually come in a pack of 3. This is the lightest weight one, so if you're just looking to tone, this is perfect. The 3 exercises I'm going to do today are for the lower body, and you can do these with or without the band. Obviously, if you're using the band, it's giving you a little bit of extra resistance to work with. Equally, it's fine to do without. The band, we're placing it just above the knee, never on the knee joint itself, so just above the knee. And we're just going to go onto the back, okay, and you're going to keep your knees about hip width apart. So all you're going to do with this exercise is squeeze up so you're in a straight line, open the knees out, bring it back and take it down. Now, if you've got the band, you've got that extra resistance to push against. Otherwise, squeezing up, pressing out, in, and down. And this works the outer thighs and the bottom. Up, out, in, down. Okay, so I would recommend that you do this exercise for between 30 seconds to a minute and put it as part of a circuit of other exercises. So the second exercise we're going to do is for the inner thigh. Now the inner thigh is an area where, as you get older, people seem to have more of a problem with. A lot of exercise programs do a lot of work on the bottom, outer thighs, but don't do as much on the inner thighs, which is why I thought I would add this one in today. So if you've got the band, you're placing it under in the middle of the foot of one leg. So for example, the back leg here, and then I'm going to place the band underneath the knee on the other leg. I'm going to roll onto my side, but really pushing my hip down and pushing forward a bit, so I'm not overextending the knee here. If you haven't got the band, you can just get into this position as normal. So I'm going to take the foot up to about here, so not too high, and then from here, I'm going to push a little bit higher. I'm keeping my foot really flexed. It's working the inner thigh, so I'm really there squeezing up, squeezing the inner thigh. So again, you want to do between 30 seconds and a minute on each side. I'll set a timer. I can set it on my stopwatch, or I can also set it with Alexa. I'm going to say that really quietly, otherwise she might come on. So I'm going to take it the other side now. My foot is the inside, on the inside arch of my foot. I roll onto my side, then I flex my foot and I'm pressing it up almost on a diagonal line. So this is where the band goes. If you aren't doing it with the band, you can equally be in the same position, working that inner thigh, squeezing as you come up, bringing the toes towards your face. This is a flex. So that's again 30 seconds to a minute each side, and that's to work your inner thighs. So the last exercise I'm going to do is called a clamshell. It's called a clamshell purely because of the shape of it. So again, you can use the band or don't use the band. So it's above the knees if you're using the band. You're rolling onto a side almost in an L shape. So all you're going to do is push the knee up and close it like a clam. Push and down. Push and down. Now if you're not using the band, as long as you keep your feet squeezed together and don't lift them up, you will still feel that here in the bottom. Okay, so squeezing up and down, again, 30 seconds to a minute. And then if you want to do an extension here and you want to add something else, as you are bringing the knee up, you're pulling your elbow to your hip and down. So you're squeezing up at the same time, and this works just here on the waist. So you can also do this at the same time. But I'd get my head around first, doing the lower body. Switch to the other side, Same thing, either with the elbow coming up, squeezing on the side, or without. So you're just pushing against the band, or if you don't have the band, you can always place your hand resistance there. So that again is your clamshell exercise. So those are the 3 exercises today. Again, working the band or without the band. And have a look back on previous episodes. You can add this into your circuits. So either the kitchen fitness that we've done in earlier episodes, and then you can also change up with some of the mini band exercises that we did last week. Well, I've been very, very busy for the last week. One of the things I've had the pleasure of doing is as a guest speaker on a very good friend of mine, Dina Ryaness's show called Divas Up North on Cheadle FM. Now, we talked about a lot of different things about health and well-being, exercise, food. One of the things I wanted to talk about and continue on from that, changes to the body over 40. As we get older, our bodies do change quite a lot, especially if you're a woman. And I'm going to talk a little bit today about what we can do to help the body go through this process. I'm going to start off by talking about the importance of varying exercise. So you should be looking at not only cardiovascular, but also strengthening and weights or resistance band exercises, which we talk about a lot on this program. One of the other things is to eat more fibre. If you're going to eat more fibre, though, drink a lot of water. And drinking a lot of water obviously is also a very good practice. I would suggest a very balanced diet, i.e. proteins, good fats and carbohydrates. You are going to stop cravings. Now, a lot of people have cravings. This is a lot to do with blood sugar levels and changes in insulin. Also, stress levels increase as we get older. So I would find something that you can do, that you enjoy doing, that combats stress. It might be yoga, it might be meditation, it might be a new hobby. Find something healthy that suits you. Now, one of my viewers has asked specifically about bloating. Foods such as cauliflower, broccoli, beans, pulses, onions, all of these foods can cause bloating, and also wheat as well. And wheat intolerances can happen at any time of life, so it may well be worth you going to, if there's anything you are intolerant to, is a first move. But by avoiding these kinds of foods, you can make it easier to avoid being bloated. One of the foods that combats bloatedness, you'll be pleased to know, are bananas. Now, I start my day every day with a banana. I don't eat much fruit, but I do eat a banana, and I think fruit is very good taken before lunch because you can burn it off throughout the rest of the day, and it's not a processed sugar. Now, I have started to put together a little concoction of herbal tablets that aid in digestion and stop bloatedness, and I've had great success with these. These are moringa leaves, ground turmeric root, and probiotics. And I take one each of these tablets every day. You can get them on eBay for about £5 each for a supply for between 1 and 2 months. So I find the combination of these 3 tablets together has really, really helped. Also, making sure that you get enough sleep. And talking of sleep, the first thing that I would recommend is do not touch any of your electronics before you're going to bed. I find that I like to be on my phone just before bed, but the nights that I don't do that, I sleep much better. I also got myself some pure lavender oil, 3 or 4 pounds. You can get it in a TK Maxx and a Barrack. I'll drop a few droplets on my pillow, and I find that every night now, where I've always had sleep issues, it's really helped. There's also a great spray from the Sanctuary, which you can get in Superdrug, and it's a lavender spray, a sort of just a mist, which equally I can put on top of my clothes that I wear for bed. Also, going overkill here on lavender this week, lovely Radox lavender bath foam, and they have just started a really lovely rich shower cream, and that is also in lavender. So I previously never would have thought about lavender, think of it as being much more of an older person smell, but it's absolutely delightful. It really has helped with my sleep patterns. Today's dating story takes me back about 15 or 20 years. And at that time, I was always a bit baffled by dating terminology, especially when it comes to the rather sensitive issue of weight. Now, you normally get in your categories slim, athletic, a few extra pounds. These are quite black and white terms. Now, there's one area, and this is where Mr. About Average comes in, where you have the about average category. You think you know what it means, and you think you know people are putting what they think they are. This story starts when I got a message from tall, dark, handsome city dude, well-travelled, well-educated, converse really well with each other, the pictures look great, and I'm not a fan of very, very skinny men. So when he said about average, that was great. Yeah, looking forward to meeting up. I met up in a city bar. I arrived early and found myself a seat, and I looked up and there was the door opened and a man came smiling through. He had to turn sideways to get through the door. He then proceeded to get stuck. Now, as I say, I've never had an issue with anybody's size. Some people really like extra pounds. This was beyond that. I came and sat down, and the first thing he said, to be fair to him, was he apologised for the way he looked. It's not necessary if you know who you're meeting and the person hasn't lied. He said, I'm sorry about weight. I've gained a few extra pounds in the last year. Now this, in terms of his pictures, I'm guesstimating would have been about 4 or 5 stone. It wasn't just a few pounds. So I just sort of said to him, did you not think about changing your settings? And he said, well, I was slim before, so now I'm about average. I've heard the reverse again also with male friends of mine in the same situation who've said the same about women as well. So I think it can be a general issue. If something like weight is an issue for you in the person that you're going to meet, shouldn't be, because everybody likes a different type of person, and there are plenty of my female friends who like a larger guy. No issue with someone's size. What I have an issue with is the lying, and I've spoken about this over the last few weeks, is your video call before you meet up. Again, saves a lot of time and energy. If I had £1 for every bad date I'd been on without actually seeing the person, I'd be a multi-millionaire. So make sure you know what you're letting yourself in for before you leave the house.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next week.